Okay. Okay, hello everybody. We're starting in the back garden now, and if you recall the last time that we did this, I didn't have too many things in bloom, but now I do, and there's a lot going on back here. My bee balm, as you can see, there's a beautiful bee up there. Maybe you can see him. He's kind of having a good old time. I call all the carpenter bees Clyde. They are all named Clyde. And this is just the bee balm back here, some of it blooming. I have some volunteers back here, some butterfly weed that's coming up, which will be nice for next year. And I have daylilies back here, an apple tree, a volunteer sunflower, some more bee balm that's been coming up like crazy back here, and some more daylilies back here, another apple tree, a huge raspberry bush that is being devoured by Japanese beetles this year. Haven't really taken too good a care of it. What I plan on doing is expanding this garden by about 3 or 4 feet so that I can give it just a little more room to grow and get bigger, and give me some room to maybe walk around the raspberry bush, because I've got some asters in the back that are starting to bloom, and there are a couple of tall phloxes that are back there that are done, but all of this bee balm is just exploding. Another apple tree, more bee balm, more bee balm, another apple tree, and this is where I need a little more help. I have this apple tree here. I think it's an apple, could be a pear. So a few more daylilies here, another fruit tree, of course, bee balm, daylilies, bee balm, fruit tree, bee balm. There should be some more bee balm. There should be some more sunflowers around here, and there probably will be when I plant them. I haven't planted them yet because I do save my seeds from year to year. So anyhow, this is the back garden. Now this is, of course, the vegetable garden. You can see the asparagus have gone to fern, and the corn is coming up. The red onions are getting pretty ready to pick up. Glenn's tomatoes are doing beautifully. Little bunny rabbits back there running around. The yellow onions are doing beautifully back here. The watermelons are just starting to take off, which is really kind of nice. We have some basil. This whole row is basil, and it's about, I think, 3 different kinds of basil. Then we have a lot of peppers. These are zucchinis, and a lot of these are the trials from the University of Tennessee. A lot of lettuce coming up, my chamomile farm, and our cantaloupes. The grapevines are doing pretty well. We've been trying to keep up with the Japanese beetle population, but we have looks like a very nice crop of grapes this year that's coming up, so hopefully we'll get to enjoy those. Actually, it looks like some of them might even be ripe. Well, I'll come out and play with them later, but there we do have a pretty nice looking crop of grapes. This is my bluebird house. I just put up another bluebird house actually, and something knocked the eggs out of the nest. I don't know if you can see them down there, little blue eggs, but something knocked them out of the nest. My trial seeds for the basil never came up. I planted them twice, but they never came up. What are you going to do? Fig tree is growing beautifully. Now we're going to the side garden, which is along the driveway, and this is about a 100-foot strip that's along the driveway. And here we have some marigolds that are planted. I have a lot of bee balm that's volunteered. And there's one right there, but there's a lot of it here that hasn't bloomed yet. A lot of milkweed. I did plant some moonbeam coreopsis here. I've never had moonbeam. I've only had the tick seed. And I like the pale yellow color of the moonbeam better. Here is another bee balm. The lavender is just about finished. We also planted some orange coneflowers this year, which were really pretty. My Mexican sunflowers have not bloomed yet. They're just about getting ready to bloom. This is one kind of daylily here. Boy, this one, oh, I wish I could show you this. Oh, I can. Here's one. The color is just so pretty on that one. Then I have this one over here. And then that's the same one. This is a different one. There's some, I've got so many different kinds of daylilies. Milkweed is still blooming. Bee balm. Queen Anne's lace. I know that it's supposed to be a weed, but I really have always loved Queen Anne's lace, so I just kind of let it grow. And look at these beautiful little daylilies down here. There's more lavender, and this daylily is the PS3 as far as I'm concerned. I just think this is so pretty. I have no idea what they are, but boy, that's just a real pretty one there. Has some stoichia down there. More Mexican sunflowers. A bed of thyme that is huge. I have 2 beds of thyme. Yarrow, stoichia, coneflowers that are blooming beautifully. And look at these frilly little delights. They're just so darn pretty. These daylilies are just gorgeous. Then I have a whole lot of milkweed. I have the 2 different kinds of milkweed, and they're just going like nuts over here. They've got those silly little beetles on them that like to play, and they're probably going to go to seed and make 10 million more. We added a new birdhouse here. I don't know who's going to control that one. It's a good distance away from the other one. It's probably at least 100 feet away from the other birdhouse. I figured next year it will either belong to another set of bluebirds or to a bunch of tree swallows, but somebody will get a hold of it. This is bee balm over here that's just coming up. My first Mexican sunflower blooming, which is late this year. Usually they've been blooming quite a bit. A little more stoichia, the Stella d'Oro daylilies, silly little zinnia. My dianthus is still blooming. Can't figure that one out for the life of me. My blue salvia and those beautiful orange cone flowers. Now the bellflowers, which is here and here, they're just kind of starting to come out. Look at this daylily. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at this one. Isn't that pretty? Gosh, they are just so pretty. And I do have some pineapple sage thrown in there. And I have a different kind of sage over here and some Thai basil, some African blue basil. And then all of this is thyme. And it's starting to bloom. And this is our Monarch Way Station sign. Now, we're going to go to the other side of the driveway. And this is a little bit narrower. We're going to widen this up a little bit. The zinnias are starting to pop up and bloom. And I have this little bunch of Queen Anne's lace that Glenn doesn't particularly want to have here. But look at it. I mean, it's kind of pretty. Real lacy, and it looks pretty, I think. So the zinnias are starting to come up here. And I didn't know what to do with my irises. Maybe I should trim them. I'm not sure. So maybe somebody will guide me with that. We have more coneflowers here, blue salvia, more coneflowers here. I have some of the cosmos coming up that is from the trial. And I volunteer over here, sunflower. I haven't planted my sunflowers yet. Some zinnias are popping up here, which is really nice. Now we're going to go to the corner of the house here. Now we have a beautiful bed of our bee balm here. I have actually 3 colors of bee balm in here. I have this beautiful lavender. I have a magenta. What? Glenn's looking at me. I don't know what he's saying. And then I have a lighter pink. So there are actually 3 colors here. And there I have my Shasta daisies, which are blooming really nicely this year. Now all of this hosta is all volunteer. And it all comes from this one plant. It kind of had like, it just had tentacles and it just went all over the place. So, but it looks pretty. So I'm just kind of leaving it there for now. Look at this beautiful daylily. Here we have some more of this pretty purplish, a different color than the other. And this is like kind of magenta. Some more daylilies back here. Look at this color. Isn't this pretty? Just love it. And this one now, we've had this hydrangea here for 6 years. This is the very first time it's ever bloomed. So I have beautiful blooms on that. My Rudbeckia is starting. I have some daylilies back here and the oak leaf hydrangea. Over on this side, Queen Anne's lace blocking the way. My phlox is done here. Weigela. Have a couple of daylilies here. This is supposed to not be here. This is a blackberry bush. I have some daylilies that are not quite blooming yet, and some that are finished. The Rudbeckia is starting. The Astilbe is done, and I think that was blooming the last time we were together. And the aster over here, which is the same one as in the back, is just starting. Usually this is more in the fall, but it is starting now. We have some a beautiful dahlia here. Now, dahlias have been a perennial here for us. So I've not planted that. I planted it 4 or 5 years ago, but there it is. More coneflowers over here. Some more daylilies thrown in the mix. Let's see. Oh, this is a pretty daylily. Look at this. Look at that. Isn't that the prettiest thing? And I have some beautiful phlox here. Phlox smells so pretty. The Rudbeckia is just coming out here. And this is the shade part, the daylily. I have some, of course, bee balm back here. And I have some coneflowers, Queen Anne's lace, which seems to like to grow anywhere. This is Harry, a turtle that lives here. And actually tortoise, I shouldn't say turtle, he's a land person. And Rudbeckia, which is just starting to kind of bloom, not quite yet. Then we go over to the Wildflower Garden, which is just about finished. It's been absolutely gorgeous. All of these have been filled with beautiful yellow flowers, yellow buds, absolutely magnificent. There's a little bit of gaillardia here now. Some coreopsis is still blooming, Rudbeckia, and the bee balm, which was all part of the mix. If you have any of the wildflower seeds that Glenn gave from his presentation last year on wildflowers, this is the seed mix that you have. So, and it's also the same seed mix that we're selling on the Master Gardener website. So it's really, really pretty. There's a lot to it. We have a peach tree here. I think we've thinned out maybe some of the peaches. I don't know if we're really going to get any decent fruit from it this year, but we'll see. And we also did plant from the tree sale, I think 2 years ago, we planted 1, 2, 5 red buds. We have one over here, one here, and then we have 3 coming down the line here. So I don't know what else the garden is going to hold for us for next year. I think things are going to be expanded a little bit more in certain places. I did expand this one a tiny bit, but I think it's going to have to come out another foot or so. And as I say, the back gardens have to come out a little bit more. But basically, these are my gardens, my flowers, my pride and joy. I just love every single one of them, and I come out and talk to them every single day. And they're just so, so beautiful. And I will leave you with this beautiful, happy, frilly daylily. It's just the prettiest thing you could ever imagine. And they're all beautiful. They're just all blooming so beautifully. So this is my garden. And there you go.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Okay, I don't know how to undo this now.
Oh, I'm just sitting here talking up a storm and to myself. I don't even know what I said now. The rooster was talking to me though. So
we have actually there are 2 houses down there are roosters, and they go all the time. They're far enough away from us though, so that we don't really notice them that much. And I do have I kind of, well, I showed you the stevia in my raised bed, but it's, my raised bed doesn't have a whole lot in it. It has lovage, parsley, it had cilantro, it has some, oh, what the heck is that called? I forgot what that, sorrel, parsley, and the stevia in here. I had some other things that looked like they were popping up, but oh, there's a little dill popping up in there. And I have some mint over by the side of the shed over here. And this is a blackberry bush, and the birds love this blackberry bush. They just love it. And that's pretty much it. That's the whole 9 yards.